Really was down on the ground, googling around with the clowns, I was no doubt for the count. Used to be down there, we up though. Had to get it out of my soul. Trusting no man, I be cut though. Had to get in for my kinfolk. We used to be down there, we up though. Had to get it.
All right, so we want to get into the matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and Green Bay Packers, Week 4, 2019, Thursday night game, which, by the way, typically changes the game script. So Thursdays are probably the most unreliable days of the week to look at only game script because the coaches, for some reason, like to have a condensed playbook. It's the same playbook that you typically would see if a team has to travel over to London and play. So you may not see exactly what we think the data will show. However, at the end of the day, the data is still more reliable than just looking at individual players. So we're going to cover the Philadelphia Eagles side as well as the Packers side. The full analysis is available, including injury report, and the list goes on. The details are available on nmsfootball.com. Everything is based on NMS credits. You cannot purchase anything outside of having NMS credits. And the best way to get NMS credits is to just do things on social media, liking videos, commenting, sharing, the list goes on, subscribing to YouTube, the list goes on. So NMS credits is the only way you can get access to the full analysis. When you go to the website, you'll see each matchup is $1, but you can actually pay $1. You have to get NMS credits. One NMS credit is the equivalent of $1. So go and sign up. You actually get points for signing up. Now, the Eagles side of the ball, I'm going to be straightforward since the analysis is available to you. There are several things that you want to pay attention to in this game, and primarily it's going to be around the Packers' weakness with running. So they allowed 13 most rushing attempts in 2019 so far. The Packers defense has been pretty solid on passing, but again, when you look at the rushing side, 4.9 average is what they're giving up in 2019. And they also saw the third most third down attempts in 2019. So any team that is efficient on third down, which Philadelphia Eagles are very efficient. They have the second highest efficiency on third down in 2019. And even in 2018, they were ranked number 11. They also control the clock well, and that's good when you're going against a team that's not good on third down. And then lastly, you want to have some good efficiency when it comes to passing attempts per game, because if you can control the clock, that means you can control the playbook. If you can control the playbook, especially like the Philadelphia Eagles, they have so many receivers, you might be able to use your receivers on first down more so than other teams have. Now, so what you want to look for basically from a receiver point of view from the Eagles, you want snap share of 90% or more. They're going to have those opportunities, so you want to make sure that they're in on first and third down, so they need a high snap share. They need target share of 25% or more because the Packers has a good defense when it comes to defending against receptions, so you need the opportunity. That's what fantasy football is all about. Your cushion has to be between 3.6 and 4.1. I know normally we say a number and then or more. In this case, you don't want more than 4.1. You don't want less than 3.6. Again, that you have to get more specific when you're going against good defenses, and the air yards need to be 6 or more. Now, on the running back side of the ball, you need a running back who can average at least 3 receptions per game. The reason for that, again, is because you want to have someone who's going to be in during third and first down. Okay, a running back who's a powerhouse is probably not going to be in on third down if he doesn't have sure hands. And an indication is to look at the receptions per game. 3 per game is usually someone who has a good catch rate, or if they have a bad catch rate, they have a good target share from a receiving point of view as a running back. The other thing you need against the Packers defense is juke. They've done pretty good job tackling. I am very fascinated with Blake Martinez. He's been doing an amazing job, and they have some other guys on that defense that haven't even played yet and who can probably tackle even better than Blake can. So the juke rate is important in this case. It's not necessarily because you need to go side to side. The Packers defense is pretty, good at staying compliant with what they have. But when you look at the Packers, weaknesses, they typically break down against running backs who can break outside and do some quick left and right moves. That typically messes them up because they're a little bit too disciplined when it comes to the tackling. So juke rate between 27% and 30%. Anything above 30%. Again, the Packers is disciplined. At some point, they're going to clean it up and get to you. So You don't want to juke all the time, but you don't want to be less than 27%, because if you're just a guy who's just going to run straight up, again, they got some good tacklers on that team. So you need to have some juking, but not too much. So between 27 and 30. Lastly, run block efficiency and under center carry rate. So the run block efficiency needs to be 80% or more. You need someone who is very good at using the offensive line when they're running, because the Packers defense is good. And then also they need to have 84% or more under center carry rate. That's typically where you can have success against the Packers. Shotgun is not going to work. The safeties are a strength for them. You don't want to give them extra time to look at what's going on and what's developing. Under the center, typically make those safeties come up and play just a little bit confused. So then you see running backs have a good shot, and then they get incorporated in the game plan, because it makes it more difficult for the Packers to really communicate when the play is under center. So under center rate, carry rate needs to be 84% or more. Examples of people who possess those character traits. Again, we're not telling you who to start, but examples of who possess that: Zach Ertz, Nelson Aguilar, and Mac Hollins. That is correct, Mac Hollins. I know that's a name you're probably not used to in fantasy football, but those are the three names of the people that match well with those stats. Again, we're not telling you who to start. A potential sleeper, someone who does not have the snap share but matches well, very, very well actually, with the stats, is Darren Sproles. Again, we're not saying go start Darren Sproles, but Darren Sproles definitely matches well with those stats. Now we're going to pivot over to the Packers side of the ball. Philadelphia Eagles, their weaknesses tend to be with receptions, so it's pretty much the opposite of what the Packers, the Packers' weaknesses are. So from an Eagles point of view, what you want to exploit is receiving. So receiving touchdowns, they allowed the fifth most so far in 2019. Receiving yards per game, they allowed the seventh most. Back in 2018, they allowed the most receptions in the NFL. So this is a cyclical thing. It's not a cyclical thing. It's happening all the time. And then they were ranked 26 in tackling. And a lot of that was because of breakdown and the defensive backs not tackling. So how do you exploit that? Well, the Packers have some strengths that's going to help, because they were ranked third in pass attempts per game in 2018. I know Matt LaFleur has come in and he wants a more balanced offense, but we're increasingly see him rely a little bit more on Aaron Rodgers, who, by the way, threw less than 8 interceptions last year and 0 so far this year. So you want to rely on someone like that who's that sure. And then they also had the 9th highest receiving average in 2018. So that being said, from a receiver point of view, the cushion needs to be 4.9 or more. Why is that? Well, from the Eagles' point of view, they don't care if they give up big plays. They should, but if they're winning, they're winning. So the cushion needs to be 4.9 or more, because that's a receiver who has the potential to have good big plays. Yards per run route, or actually yards per pass route. You want that to be 2 or more. Air yards, you want to be 8 or more. So as you can see, these numbers are about big play receivers. And then the last thing is red zone target share of 20% or more. So basically, the profile that fits that are these big receivers who can run. When they're running a route, they can separate, and they probably got yards after catch. But yards after catch is not important against the Eagles. They actually do a decent job tackling. Even though right now they're ranked 26 in 2019, they actually do a better job tackling than you think, because the DBs suck. So as far as tackling. That being said, when you have a big receiver, you have a better shot of getting those yards after catch when you're deep, okay? Because that's the people that's deep, the defensive back. So in order to get that deep, you need the cushion, okay? And you need the yards per pass route. Now, on the running back side of the ball, there's really 3 things that's going to be helpful. Run block efficiency of 73% or more. Shotgun carry rate of 45%. So when we just talked about the Eagles, it was under center carry rate that you wanted to look at, not when you're trying to start someone from the Packers. You need the shotgun carry rate, because that's where the Eagles break down. And then the catch rate needs to be 70%. So it needs to be a running back who is reliant on catching, and so they can be incorporated in the game script, because again, the Eagles' weaknesses is receiving. So people that match up well with that: Devontae Adams, Jamal Williams, and Aaron Jones. So both Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones could have a good game. Devontae Adams matches up quite well, but there is a sleeper, Jake Kumerow. I don't even know if I said it right. Jake Kumerow is a sleeper because right alongside Devontae Adams, he matches up quite well against the Eagles' weaknesses. So there you have it. Again, are we saying start these individuals? No, we're not saying that. We're saying you need to consider it. Look at the other people that's on your bench. Understand the strengths and weaknesses there. See if there are some matchups there you can go with. I normally avoid Thursdays if I can because, again, the game script typically is condensed. So this is assuming that this is a full game script and it's not going to be one of those Game in London type game scripts where it doesn't look at all like what you typically would see. So if you can avoid the matchups, that's okay. But I know Devontae Adams is high draft capital. I get that. And then on the Eagles side of the ball, I understand Zach Ertz, maybe Nelson Aguilar is high draft capital. So, look at the other ones and see what happens there. Have a good time watching this game. Look for the people that we said are sleepers, Darren Sproles and Mac Hollins, as well as Jake Kumerow. Look at those individuals, see how they do, see if the analytics line up. Go ahead to nmsfootball.com. Sorry if I'm talking fast, but we got so much work to do here. So go to nmsfootball.com. Grab the analysis. It's available. Don't be afraid of something that says $1. Okay, it's $1. You're not even spending that. You're going to use NMS credits. We don't take actual money from individuals. We are a reward-based system. So sign up, get your points, get your analysis, become a better football fan, do a better job in your fantasy football leagues, and there you have it. NMS Football.
Get it, go get it, I got it. Get it, go get it, I got it. Get it, go get it, I got it. Get it, go get it, I got it.